The Revolution Part 20. There were armed battles and collapse of the monarchy in the month of February 1979 after the arrival of Khomeini. Tensions between the two rival governments increased rapidly. To demonstrate his support, Khomeini called for demonstrations to occupy the streets throughout the country. He also sent a letter to American officials warning them to withdraw support for Bakhtiyar. Bakhtiyar became increasingly isolated, with members of the government, including the entire Regency Council, defecting to Khomeini. The military was crumbling its leadership completely. It was paralyzed, unsure whether to support Bakhtiyar or act on their own, with the rank and file soldiers either demoralized or deserting. On 9 February, a rebellion of pro Khomeini Air Force technicians broke out at the Doshan Tape Air Base. A unit of the pro Shah Immortal Guards attempted to apprehend the rebels, and an armed battle broke out. Soon, large crowds took to the streets, building barricade and supporting the rebels, while Islamic Marxist guerrillas with their weapons joined in support. The armed rebels attacked a weapons factory, capturing nearly 50,000 machine guns, distributing them to the civilians who joined in the fighting. The rebels stormed police stations and military bases throughout Tehran. The city's martial law commander, General Mehdi Rahimi, decided not to use 30,000 loyal Immortal Guards to crush the rebellion for the fear of producing civilian casualties. The final collapse of the provisional non Islamicist government came at 2 p.m. on 11 February, when Supreme Military Council declared itself neutral in the current political disputes in order to prevent further disorder and bloodshed. All military personnel were ordered back to their bases, effectively yielding control of the entire country to Khomeini. Revolutionaries took over government buildings, TV and radio stations, palaces of the Pahlavi dynasty, and marking the end of the monarchy in Iran. Bakhtiyar escaped the palace under a hail of bullets, fleeing Iran in disguise. He was later assassinated by an agent of the Islamic Republic in 1991 in Paris. This period from 1 February to 11 February is celebrated every year in Iran as the Decade of Fajr. Feb- 11 February is Islamic Revolution's Victory Day, a national holiday with state sponsored demonstrations in every city. There were many casualties. Some sources, such as Imaduddin Baghi, researcher at the Martyrs Foundation, claim there were 2,781 protesters and revolutionaries who were killed in 1978 79 during the revolution. Khomeini reported a much larger number, saying 60,000 men and women and children were martyred by the Shah's regime. Military historian Spencer C. Tucker rejected this 60,000 figure as grossly overstated for propaganda purposes. Tucker explains that the consensus of historians regarding the estimated deaths during the Iranian Revolution from January 1978 to February 1979 numbers between 530 to 2,781. According to the historians Edward Abrahamian, 8,000 opponents were executed between 1981 and June 1985. Now, this is what is done by Khomeini. By revolutionary codes, as the revolution was consolidated, exceeded those killed by the royalist government trying to stop the revolution. According to Tucker, the estimations in the period of 1980 to 1985, between 25,000 and 40,000 Iranians were arrested, 15,000 Iranians were tried, and between 8,000 to 9,500 Iranians were executed.